If you're looking for a luxurious, top-of-the-line day boat or weekender boat, then a boat from the Pardo Yachts lineup may be exactly what you're looking for. The Pardo yacht in front of us is a Pardo 43. This is presented by the Chesapeake Yacht Center. Guys, this yacht has extremely stunning looks, but it's also extremely well thought out and functional. I think you're going to really enjoy this one. Officially, the length overall is 45 feet and 11 inches. It has a beam of 13 feet and 9 inches, and it has a draft of 3 feet and 5 inches. Now you have a bunch of different engine options on this one. Here, really quick before we step on board, I'll show you a spec sheet. So you can see some of those engine options right here. This one has the fully upgraded option. And right at the back, you do have a hydraulic swim platform. And it's hard to make out, but also there is an integrated board and ladder. And then of course, one thing you'll notice right away is this huge sun pad area. And this area is extremely functional as well. A little bit forward of the sun pads, you have your dining area. So here you have a teak table, and this is expandable. And then you have the bench seating forward and aft of that. But this table can also be lowered. If you look at the legs down here, you can lower this table down, throw an infill cushion on top, and then you have an even larger sun pad area to enjoy off the back of this one. You'll also notice the backrests are adjustable. So whether you want it in the bench configuration, or we can flip these the other way to act as pillows for facing aft, you have that flexibility there. And the same thing for the seats right here. Currently, you can see how they're facing the table, but say you're underway and you're going very fast and everyone wants to face forward, you can do the same thing and set this to where you're facing forward now. So it's always nice to see that functionality on a smaller yacht like this. And then before we get forward into the galley area, there's still lots of things to talk about back here. Over here, you'll notice there are gates on the side. You can see your shore power cable. And then here are the controls for the hydraulic swim platform. And then underneath this sun pad, you have a massive storage area. And that control is right here. So if I push this button, you'll see how this starts to come up. We're not necessarily going to open this up all the way, but I wanted it to get open enough so you can see what I'm talking about. Here you can see you have all your fenders in here, but there's also plenty of extra space. So if you want additional water toys, extra equipment, lines, fenders, anything you need, you can store that in this space. And then over here, there is the built-in shower and another gate on the other side. And you'll also notice the speakers all throughout this yacht. You have a really good sound system on board. And you also have this powered sunshade, which can extend from the carbon fiber T-top, which you have right in the middle of the yacht. All right, before we continue, let's put this back down. The powered mechanism is actually pretty quick. You never know if it's going to be, I've seen some that are extremely slow. All right, so I think we've seen everything back here. We've seen the dining area. I've showed how all of this is convertible. So stepping even more forward, we have your galley area. So underneath this glass, you have a large sink, as well as your grill. And then of course, you're gonna have storage in all of these areas. So you have storage right here. You have a refrigerator. This is a pull-out trash. And then you also have some built-in storage in these drawers right here. Speaking of storage, they also make really good use of this space. You can see right here, we can open this up and you have space for life jackets or anything else you want to store in here. And you have that on either side. And then you also have these steps that fold down right here. So if you are boarding from the side, you can easily step on board and it's not too big of a step down. So those are some nice little touches. And I also really love the cleats. You have the Pardo embossed right into them. And then the controls for that powered bimini that we saw before are right here. So that's for the sunshade over this area. All right, so before we head forward and check out the helm, we're gonna continue just staying on our path. I don't wanna miss anything. If you open up this hatch, you'll see you have access to the engine room. We're not gonna fully climb down here. You can see the 2 engines down here, and these are the fully upgraded Volvo D6 IPS 650 engines. Now guys, you get serious performance on this yacht with the fully upgraded engines. You have a top speed of around 40 knots. Comfortably, you can cruise at 29 or 30 knots, and you'll get around 300 nautical miles of range, depending on your cruising speed. Of course, you can drop it way lower than that and go much further, but guys, this boat is built for fun. It's built to be fast. And this one also has a Seakeeper stabilization system, so that's a nice touch as well. So now we're going to step forward and check out this beautiful helm station. We have twin Garmin multifunction displays. You have your compass. This is the controls for the Seakeeper stabilization system I mentioned. Built-in cup holders, your steering wheel, and then of course we have the throttle control. This is the joystick for the IPS pods. You have your Fusion stereo system controls right over here, and then another monitoring screen for the engines specifically. Then of course you have your VHF radio, and a really beautiful single-piece glass windshield. And on this one they also added this additional accessory, so you do have a clear piece of film or plastic over this section, so you can completely close off that space. And then in that carbon fiber T-top I mentioned, you do have glass panels in the ceiling as well. This T-top gives you an ultra luxurious feel. You can tell it's a very high quality build. And then of course you're gonna have very aggressive, but also very comfortable seats. So you have 3 lift bolster seats. And what I mean by that, this section can be raised or lowered. So right now when they're up, you can just lean back against them while you're driving the boat. Or if you want to sit down, of course you can just scoot them down like that, and then you just take your seat. And then before we head inside, you can spend a weekend aboard on this yacht. It does have some accommodations below. But before we get down there, you'll see you have another sun pad area with the built-in cup holders. You can fit a good amount of people on this boat, and with the sound system, it's definitely a good contender for a party boat. You have a hatch right here into the cabin below. That's great for ventilation or escape in an emergency. And then all the way forward, you have another little bench right here. And the anchor is actually hidden away. So when you look at the yacht from the front, maybe I'll throw up a picture, you can't see the anchor because it's hidden. But you can access all of those controls. Underneath this bench, you'll see it's actually teak lined. So that's a nice little touch. But this is also a hatch. And then here you'll see the windlass anchor system. You have additional fender storage for your lines, your anchor chain. And it's nice that this hatch is just one huge hatch. It's very easily accessible. And then we'll take a quick look at the profile. And I think now's a good time, since we are tied up at a boat show, I'm gonna throw up a picture of its profile. So you can see those beautiful lines. You can see the Italian style kind of oozing throughout. If I forgot to mention before, Pardo yachts are built in Italy. So it's time to head inside. And you actually can sleep up to 4 comfortably down in this space. And I really like how they have this set up. If you step in here, this I believe is the light oak interior. You can see you have full standing headroom, more than enough. If you're over 6 feet, you could definitely stand up in this space. But I love the accent lights in the ceiling as well as down on each side of the bed. So this would be considered the master. There's a drawer underneath. And then you can see the windows on each side and that hatch that we saw from outside. I like the little strips of the wood in the ceiling as well as the soft touch materials. I think they did a pretty good job. It's very minimalistic, but still in a classy way, in my opinion. And then over here, you have the TV up on the wall and it's backlit. You have really good storage because you have a closet right here, and then more storage built in along here and the sides. It looks like everywhere they could fit storage, they put it in. And then turning around, you have another control for the Fusion stereo system, more storage in here, and then here you'll find the switch panel. Let's just peek down here. I assume this is just more storage. I'm curious, you might be able to fit a microwave in this space. And then it does have an ensuite. We'll look at that in a second. But you also have this mini cabin down here. And this is still finished to a really nice degree. You do have to crouch down to get in here. But guys, once you're in here, it's not claustrophobic whatsoever. It's also, like I said, it's finished really nicely. So it's actually a really lovely space. And you have the TV up on the wall. So if we turn around here, you'll see that. And then I think Pardo was really smart with this design. I love how they did this. Obviously, it's not fun to get dressed when you're crouched down. So if you are with people who don't want to get dressed in front of each other, they actually have a cutout in the ceiling with some windows as well. So if you need to get dressed, you can just stand in this section. And guys, I'm about 5'10", 5'11" on a good day. Hopefully it's not too echoey right here, but you can see the windows to the outside. And then you can fully stand up here. And there's probably 3 to 4 inches above my head. So if we sit down on the bed and I lean back, I'll show you a little more of that. But like I said, it's a nice little touch. You can easily stand up, get dressed, dry off, do what you have to do. No problems whatsoever. And then you do have the single head on this yacht. So if we close this door and then open this one up, same theme, pretty minimalist, but your sink and toilet. And then it does have a separate shower stall, and it has the rainfall shower head. So I think we've seen every area of this Pardo 43. Thank you as always to Chesapeake Yacht Center for granting me access on board. In the comment section down below, let me know what you think of this one. We'll give you one more shot from the front. Thank you so much for watching. We'll catch you next time.